All right, guys. So hopefully, I know room is kind of an abomination, but I got some projects going on here. So what we're going to look at today is this has the audio port installed on it. So we're going to listen for the differences between, I think it's like 3 different speakers that I have. I have a JBL, what is it, a Flip, I don't know, 6 or something. I got some powered speakers down here, and then I have a little tiny, if I have it, okay, it's way over in the corner here. I got this little tiny Sony, it's another Bluetooth speaker, so I have 2 Bluetooth speakers and then some powered, I don't know if you want to call it bookshelf speakers or whatever that you can use. I use them for my projection mapping. So I want to hear the differences between his internal speaker and what these things sound like connected up to him. So without further ado, let's connect him in. And originally he's going to start off with his normal speaker that's in his chest. And I'll make sure that now this is only going off my pre-recorded or my voice that I recorded into the system. I'm not using the pre-recorded stuff that he came with. So you can see it doesn't really sound that great. I mean, in here, this is a smaller room, so it's gonna sound louder. Outside, on Halloween, I don't think you're gonna hear that very well. And I just happen to have a bunch of these audio jacks from other projects, so we will need audio jacks. Okay, so once that audio jack's plugged in, if it's not plugged into anything else, you ain't gonna hear shit. This is something that a little speaker that I had when I used to use my bicycle a lot more than I do now. So it's not, I don't know what the wattage is on this, but it's not loud at all. But let's see if it sounds better than his standard stuff. I don't even know if it's maxes out or not.
Trick-or-treaters, you can see here what I did with the last trick-or-treater, always begging for candy. Get a jar of those.
So even this little thing sounds better than his internal speaker, which is kind of funny. We'll hear one more with this.
Anyone want to play a game? Heads or tails?
Alright. So you can see this little guy was even louder than his internal speaker. And like these powered speakers, you got treble adjustment, you got bass adjustment, so you can dial these in, I'm sure, a lot better than what the other speakers are.
Welcome to the Bruno's Haunted House in Paris. Enter if you dare and explore the extremely intense motivation of everyone that enters. See what I did with the last person that came in here? I'm holding him in my left hand.
Okay, so obviously you can really pump these things up. I'm gonna try messing around with the treble and the bass now.
Trick-or-treaters, you can see here what I did with the last trick-or-treater, always begging for candy. Get a jar of your bones. Anyone want to play a game? Heads or tails?
Okay, so something like these powered speakers, I can't remember exactly what power range these are in. I want to say these are like 50 to 100 watt powered speakers, so you can really get him sounding pretty good with this. And like I said, you have the treble and the bass adjustment, so if it's too deep, you can kick off the bass a little bit, back off the bass, turn up the treble, whatever you want to do. So this does give you a lot better option than just one of those little speakers.
Hey, you over there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Come here. So I heard you want some candy. Well, I want something too. Guess what that is? It's your head!
So the difference is when you use these big bookcase speakers or anything like that, the sound isn't going to seem like it's coming from his mouth. I don't know if that makes a big difference. I guess it's where he's positioned that may throw more. If he's up close to somebody, they're probably going to tell that the sound isn't coming from where the sound should come from, but then again, he's a skeleton, so I don't really know where a skeleton sound's supposed to come from. But it's not going to be coming from his mouth. From a distance, if he's off on a distance and you're using the bookshelf speakers or something like that, or what we're going to try next is this thing I've used on a boat for like a year before I had my stereo redone, and this goes pretty damn loud. It's rechargeable. This is a JBL Boombox 3. It's rechargeable, it lasts a long time, and you can plug the auxiliary cord or the audio cord into this thing, directly into this thing. So this here, you don't have to plug in anywhere. You don't have to have like an alternate, plug location for power. You just put this thing out there wherever it is. But once again, it's too big to put on his body, so the sound is going to come from a different area. I'm gonna kill myself with him swinging around the head. So we'll jack up. Try and jack up the sound here. Again. So hit the wrong one. I don't know. It's hard to tell when you're not using a phone.
For the triggers, you can see here what I did with the last trick-or-treater, always begging for candy. Get a job, you bugs.
So once again, you can put this thing super freaking loud. I'm not sure if that's max or not. It probably is max, but I mean, it goes loud.
Game, heads, or tails? Hey, you over there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Come here. So I heard you want some candy. Well, I want something too. Guess what that is? It's your head!
Hopefully you heard the difference between the three speakers. The JBL, once again, I believe, even though I like basically how it's portable and everything, I think it was a little bit too bassy, so I'm thinking that on the JBL, what I would do is probably try and go download the JBL app and then see if I could take down the bass a little bit. But the speaker is designed for bass music. I don't know if it's so great with vocals or not. You have a lot better control with the powered bookshelf speakers, which once again, those go really loud and it seems like it stays clearer versus the bass, especially when you're transforming his voice and you're making it deeper. So the bass is just enhancing that on the JBL. The little speaker surprisingly doesn't sound that bad either. You've seen how the little speaker actually goes louder than his internal speaker. That's just a little cheap Sony, and it actually has the auxiliary port in the back. And that there you could actually hide or attach somewhere. You could probably even zip tie it inside his rib cage if you have clothes. You could put it, like I heard some people say, they put it on the back side of him. I would just make sure the speaker's firing forwards on it, whereas his speaker here fires backwards, which is kind of weird. At least that's where they have the holes. I'm not sure if it actually fires backwards or not, but they obviously didn't want to put the holes in his chest, so you would see holes in his chest, so they put the holes on the back side. So his kind of more rear fires, I want to say, from the chest area on the speaker. But these are just other options. That audio jack that's installed in this thing was the one that somebody was selling on this site from Etsy. Does it work? Yeah. Is it worth the price? But it works. You don't have to do anything really besides pull this guy apart, and it's basically plug and play. You got to drill one hole out, and I do suggest if you use that, you don't follow their instructions with drilling a 3/8 hole, because they do tell you to drill with a 3/8 hole, and that's absolutely wrong. You want to drill with a 3/16 hole to a 1/4 inch, but definitely not a 3/8 hole. So a little error in their instructions, and if you do drill a 3/8 hole, good luck, because you're going to need some putty or something to fill it in. Other than that, if you have any questions, let me know. But that was 3 different style speakers. Obviously 2 of them were portable. They didn't need like any power source to go to them. The bookshelf powered speakers, I believe, sounded the best, but you're going to need secondary, another power cord or an adapter somewhere close by where you can plug in the bookshelf speakers. The 2 big set of speakers, once again, if this thing is up close to a person, the sound is not going to sound like it's coming from his mouth. So if you use those 2, I would think you would use those 2 if this prop is far away from basically the trick-or-treaters, subjects, whatever you're using it for, to make it sound like, you know, it's not going to sound as bad, seeing that this thing's far away. You ain't going to be able to pinpoint where the sound's coming from. If this thing's going to be close to people, I would get, obviously, maybe better than what I have. That's an old-ass Sony, but I'm not sure if any of them come with that auxiliary port anymore on the newer models of those little Bluetooth speakers. But I would find a good, small Bluetooth speaker, something that's going to last, too. That's the other thing, too. You don't want your Bluetooth speaker dying on you, you know, halfway through the night, and then you're like, oh, shit. So you want something that has a good battery life and something that, you know, if you plug it in, you can actually put it somewhere around his upper head area. That way it makes it sound like the sound's coming from his mouth. So those are the things that I've came up with so far. I do appreciate, you know, getting that audio jack. I waited. I'm glad it works. Like I said, I don't plan on using this thing outside during the course of the Halloween month. So this will probably go outside exactly on Halloween night. And if it goes out any earlier than that, it's going to be under an enclosed porch area where it's not going to see any of the elements. So I'm not even worried about that port being a certain, you know, stainless steel port, whatever. That doesn't bother me, because obviously I seriously doubt that one is. Once again, questions, concerns, leave them in the comments, but hopefully that helps. Ultra Skelly fanatics, and hopefully you guys are enjoying, you know, messing around with this guy. So, all right, till then, see you later. Bye-bye.